Hello and welcome to Reactice. Our mission and passion at Reactice is to link research and practice. We do this in a lively manner where we try to link a topical issue related to management or leadership in a short, unscripted dialogue. Today, we are very fortunate to have with us Dr. Adnan Alturkistani, who is a digital transformation expert. He has led several digital transformation projects in Saudi Arabia, and we would like to inquire a bit more what successful digital transformation entails. Dr. Adnan, welcome to Reactice Studios.
Thank you, Dr. Imran. I appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity and to share with the audience about the digital transformation. That's the speech of I would say, everywhere in the globe now these days.
Absolutely, Dr. Adnan. Thank you very much. Digital is an area I am increasingly interested in, and I am a humble student of this area, Dr. Adnan. So I follow the success case studies on digital transformation, and there are many case studies. We would like to really understand from you, because you're sitting in a region, in a country where transformation and digital transformation is surprising the whole world. So we would like to hear directly, and you have been part of some of those projects, we would like to hear directly from you of what is it that digital transformation means to Saudi Arabia, to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and if you can shed some light on the successful transformations happening in the kingdom.
Yeah, actually the transformation, the digital transformation itself that took place, it started back early in the, I would say, late 90s, but that started in a very small size, in not even well organized way as it is in the past 5 years. I remember one of the old projects that I was working was, yes, it was in 1999, but the transformation was huge, that we didn't only transfer from like mainframes and things like this, it was even like paperwork. So doing all of this transformation together to have a final digital platform to manage everything, that was a good challenge. So in Saudi, a lot of digital transformation projects happened, but what happened recently in the past 5 years is like huge in size. I would say it equals what happened in the past 50 years, of course. When you talk about digital transformation by itself, it started by, at the beginning, the word digitizations. But the digitization itself is only to transfer the form or the paper form, the physical form, into a digital form. Then eventually, of course, the transformation of digital transformation meant that we do the whole process. It's not only doing the forms itself. So the whole process from A to Z has to be digitized, and then of course the end user, who is benefiting from this, will see a very smooth, transparent process that they will do. In Saudi, of course, recently, if we can hear a lot of I would say projects, a lot of transformation took place. Things that used to take weeks, it take only minutes today to finish. An example, for example, issuing commercial registrations take 30 seconds to issue. Renewing the license, for example, the driving license, it takes nothing. So most of those transactions now today, they are online, and the people are benefiting from that digital transformation.
So in your opinion, Dr. Adnan, what was the main factor that drove this transformation in the kingdom? Because you said since 1990s, this process of transformation has been there, but in the past 5 years, it has really taken off. So what is that factor, in your opinion, from your research perspectives, that really make it take off in the last 5 years?
Good. In addition to the technical advancement that took place in the digital era, the processes itself, the way that we do transformation. We know transformation usually is combined by resistance from people who are using it. So managing this type of resistance and accepting those type of change, looking at the whole picture, the process of transformation, the digital transformation itself, is not only providing a new system or a new platform. No, we had to look at the whole process from A to Z. And then, of course, before we start doing the implementation of the system itself, one need to look at the whole process and where to adjust in those processes. And here where the most of the resistance comes, because people would say, well, we used to do this for the past 20 years, for ages. Why do we want to change it now? So if you go and change all of these processes and look at it, that's one of the, I would say, success factors that happened recently. And of course, at the same time, looking at it from a global perspective, like I would say in Saudi, a driving license is not only within the traffic police, for example, department. They look at it from the whole
centralized.
Yeah, identifying the person itself. So now we know authentication is very important in digital transformation. How would somebody know that, yes, this person is not impersonating somebody else, or he's really applying for himself? That has to be connected to another system. So this type of integration, this is what helped a lot recently in the digital transformation that took place in Saudi.
Thank you, Dr. Adnan. Thank you so much. I know from my research and my study, Clayton Christensen, who suggests that when transformations hit an industry, and especially talking about transformational innovation, he says that transformational innovation happens at the grassroots. They do not happen at the top end of the industry. And for example, the case Netflix, they started by posting the CDs in their letterboxes, and later on they became a threat for Blockbuster, wipe Blockbuster off. So digital transformations from Clayton Christensen's perspectives happen at the lower end of the industry. But I can truly relate this with the country transformation happening in Saudi, and as you're describing that there was a process that has gone through and it's changing the grassroots. It's not changing at the top end, but the change has to really come from the bottom towards the top that drives this process forward. Do you agree with this? In your opinion, do you really see that this is what happened?
Yeah, exactly. This is what took place in Saudi. I mean, it started all from, like I would say, the very root point of it, the basics of it. The basics of, for example, first of all, having the identifications of those, I would say, personals, because the different personas in each case had to be handled differently. The readiness of the people themselves of doing this change. So they were using a digital transformation way without like realizing that they are doing it. In actually, when the whole initiative came in Saudi, so people were ready to embrace these type of changes in the country. So this is, I agree exactly 100%. This is how it started in Saudi, and this is how now it is reaching, but it is evolving more and more now in the future.
And would you give the credit to the leadership there, Dr. Adnan?
Definitely. The past 5 years, with the Vision 2030, of course, it had very focused targets and where we want to achieve. At the same time, accountability. So every now and then, we wanted to see where are we heading and which milestone did we finish on time. So the integration of everything that took place in the country was because of this one vision, the Vision 2030, that helped the different ecosystem to integrate with each other, and then, of course, deliver this type of success, I would say, in the digital transformation era.
I heard someone, Dr. Adnan, said before that we are immigrants in this digital world. We are not citizens of it. And you, having spent, even myself, having spent the 90s, the era in 90s, how does it feel now when you're really living that transformation? How do you feel, Dr. Adnan?
Well, of course, that's it's something like a tale now when we tell our children or the young generations about what used to be then at the time of doing things on paper or even in the mainframe. You remember mainframe before the PCs in the 80s, somebody was like, does not have the privilege to use to work on computer from their home. They had to go to a place where the mainframe terminal is there. But now, of course, with the introduction of the PC, and afterward, where now everything is in the palm of our hand, the mobile phones, it has everything, all the computer, everything. That advancement in the technology, in the hardware itself, combined with the advancement in the processes and in the applications, of course, did a tremendous change. I remember back also in one of the projects where we went doing the digital transformation in a telecom company in Saudi, and they, at that time, for example, applying for a landline used to take 3 weeks until the installation time. I remember going to the like a roadshow, because we are doing a digital transformation. I was telling them it will take 2 days, and people were laughing at me and saying, come on, it won't be that much easy. And of course, it happened 2 days, and today it takes only 2 hours to be done. So we could imagine these type of things. A lot of in Saudi, a lot of the services for the end users were digitalized. And of course, many people now think that they used to do, even like before 5 years, they used to do in weeks or days. Now they're doing in minutes and hours.
Thank you, Dr. Adnan. If we, as we wrap up this video, if we ask you, what are your key takeaways from this process of transformation that you have yourself witnessed and been part of, and have personally implemented some of these transformations in the Saudi? What are your key learnings from it?
I would say for any digital transformation to success or to succeed, first of all, I think there are 4 or 5 elements. The commitment of the top management, or whoever on the top of this. If they are committed, if they are giving time, allocating time to lead and to manage these type of things, this is one of the key criteria of success. The second point, which will be the looking of the overall picture, rather than, because digital transformation is not only a small project, it is actually, as we said, transformation. We have to consider the process from A to Z. In some of the examples that we did, we include even the suppliers and of course the customers in this, because we need to know how do they feel. They have to be part of this whole cycle. Otherwise, it will not succeed. The third one, which is change. Change management is very critical and important in this type of transformation, because it's not only the change of the resistance of the people, and this is what usually people talk about in any transformation or any change, but also the change that accompanied by the systems itself, by the processes itself. So if we did not consider those before we implement the implementation itself, it will affect the transformation. The last and final one, the communication. Communication is very, very important. Some people, they will, like in Qatar, for example, model of change, they include communication within their model. But from my perspective and whatever I've seen through the previous experiences, communication had to be looked at differently and separately, out of this thing. Because the communication here is not only the end user, it's not only the staff or the people who work with me, the communication with the whole ecosystem that's working with us, because we need to communicate to them what's coming, to have their believe in what's coming, and there to support this transformation. So I think digital transformation is a very interesting journey. We are facing it, and what's coming is like more also enthusiastic, inshallah, and I hope that we see a lot of success in the coming future.
Inshallah. Dear Dr. Adnan, we stand enlightened by your presence at this platform. Thank you very much for sharing this case study with us of how a country, how a society is being transformed, and what impact digital has in the past 5 years on this massive transformation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We look forward to seeing you on more episodes.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.